Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.
Hi, this is Ron Kinscherf with Muddy River News. Welcome to the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Mercantile Bank and Rober and Phillips Attorney at Law. We have Andrew Wellman from Muddy River Engraving with us today. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So, were you Muddy River before we were Muddy River, or how's this? We're not affiliated. Really. Yeah, you get that all the time, though, don't you?
Yeah. Everywhere I go, it's just like, oh, yeah, you stole the name from Muddy River News, didn't you? I was like, no, that's not even the case. We actually had another business name before that. Somebody else actually had it when I filed for the LLC, and I was like, well, crap, I have to change this like right now. I had to come up with something different.
So what was the first one?
It was A&S Creations.
Okay.
And honestly,
somebody had A&S Creations.
Yes,
okay.
Thankfully, because I don't know if people would associate me with that anymore.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for a year now.
Okay, so you went to Notre Dame, went to college for a little bit, and then decided you tried a few different things, but why this? How did this come about?
Just worked for another place for 10 years, then decided.
Doing this type of thing?
No, not this at all. It was all like hunting related. So I worked at Game Masters for 10 years. Kind of grew my way up there. After a certain point, just decided to head out and do something else. Found out that other thing wasn't for me either. Right. And so I was actually just thinking about it. I wasn't doing anything else besides shooting my bow and hunting.
Right.
That was it. And I was like, you know what? It's, mid-January, hunting season's over, too cold to shoot my bow. I have to find something else.
But how'd you find this, of all things?
Well, what happened is my uncle actually does a lot of woodworking. And I said, you know what? That's kind of cool. Like, I want to make cutting boards and everything. Invested a lot of money into that.
Stuff like this?
Stuff like that.
So this is what you first started doing?
It was actually making cutting boards, and then found out that the only way you can sell a cutting board is to personalize it.
Right. Okay.
And so what I actually did was I bought the engraver then at that point. Went out, did one show, had a big 10 by 20 booth, had a bunch of cutting boards on there, and then my girlfriend actually made a bunch of designs for dog tags too. We took the engraver out there, and everybody would tell me how great my cutting boards looked. Not a single person bought one, but we sold 10 dog tags that day. Okay. And found out, like, if I want to do this full time and make something of it, I have to change up the whole concept of the business. So yeah.
And so you still do dog tags, I'm assuming.
Still do dog tags.
So this was
collars.
All right. So this was the beginning of this type of work.
Yep.
And so but you invested in the engraver, so that was out of pocket. Did you create the business at that point? Did you have the LLC or whatever to get at that point, or
not at that certain time?
Okay.
No.
So did you decide at that point, this is what I'm going to do for a while?
Yes, I decided I don't want to work for anybody but myself ever again.
Okay. So you started with the engraving. And then obviously we have these hats down here, and you jumped into the hats and some other product lines too, right?
Jumped into that, jumped into tumblers, then just started knocking door to door with other businesses, and just kind of grew up from there, showing them samples, putting their logo on stuff, just saying, hey, this is what I do, hope you like it. If we can work together, it sounds great.
I mean, that takes a lot of guts to get going right away. That's the first thing I'm thinking about. And then
it took me 3 times before Brian from Crazy Cakes finally took my meeting. They kept pushing me off, and I love Brian to death. But we finally made it work, and now he was my first customer, actually.
Oh, he was? So was that the hardest part, was getting out and trying to sell yourself? Because that's something you had never done before.
I was in sales all my life, but never, like, opening up the door saying, hey, this is what I do. Can I just take 5 minutes to show you what I'm doing?
And have you always been artistic? Because this is somewhat artistic. I know you'll say that, well, the machine does all the work, but you have to have some sort of an eye to create some of this stuff.
A lot of trial and error, a lot of wasted products, to finally figure out, what kind of works. And now I have the right settings for everything I work with, and just kind of going from there.
And now it's an official business, licensed with the state,
licensed with the state, do this full time. Have started with 1 engraver, now I have 5. I have a commercial hat press. I have a commercial heat press now for doing T-shirts as well. And 2 out of 3 rooms in the house are filled up with engravers, and the basement's 3/4 inventory now.
And you mentioned you do business-to-business type things,
Yep.
right? Is that what your primary business is? Or obviously, we have the Notre Dame hat, but I've seen some stuff that you've done for schools.
Yeah, primarily that's what I do is B2B, but then I'll also do individual stuff. So if somebody comes up and says, hey, I want a tumbler with this on it, I'll be able to do that for them as well.
So obviously there's a scale to what you do in terms of, you just don't want to do a onesie, twosie type thing that often because that's time and you don't make as much money on something along those lines, I'm assuming, right?
Yes and no. Biggest reason I was doing B2B is because, kind of like we talked about, I've never was all that artistic to begin with. So if somebody sent me their logo, I could easily put that on a hat, put it on a tumbler, put it on, a koozie, anything like that. But if an individual comes up and has some kind of idea, I'm able to work with that a little bit now. So I don't really turn anybody away, whether it's business or individual.
Was there somebody that helped you a lot you just started a business, you're like 4 years old, but never, I obviously exaggerating, but you had never gone into anything like that. Did you have a mentor or anybody that you bounced ideas off of?
Facebook and YouTube.
Seriously?
Yep. I didn't really have I wasn't talking to any other laser engraver person around
But
this
just
area.
from a business perspective, starting your own business, because there's obviously legal aspects of it, there's taxes aspects of it, there's all this other peripheral stuff that you have to deal with. It isn't necessarily what you want to do in terms of the business. So you didn't have a sounding board, really?
No, just kind of jumped in, both feet in, and the only other person I really talked to was my accountant when it came to the taxes and all that kind of stuff.
So was there one aspect of this that you weren't expecting that kind of slapped you in the face? You've been at it a year now.
Every day a little bit. There's always something new that kind of slaps you in the face. But no, not really. I came from kind of a business background, from a couple other places that I've been. So it wasn't really, nothing was like a huge shock. The only shock really is, when you're hustling and trying to make, your mortgage and everything, you really have to go out there and really start, selling. Not everybody's going to say yes, not everybody's going to say no, but so you just kind of have to go in there with like, there may be a no mentality, but you just got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and that could get difficult that people do say no, and there's that fine line to where you're bugging somebody versus doing your job.
Right.
Was that difficult for you to find that gray area where, let's use Brian as an example, you're driving Brian crazy. He does run crazy case, but you're driving Brian crazy versus, being a good salesperson.
There's always that line you have to toe.
So did you learn the hard way where that line is?
Did
somebody say, get the heck out of here, I'm tired of seeing your face type thing?
I've learned it throughout the years and some of the other business stuff, it just, you kind of know. After a certain point, you send off a couple messages, you go in there, try to talk to them, they don't talk to you, you're just kind of like, all right, well, I can't put any more time necessarily into this.
Was there a moment, so a little over a year, right?
Yep.
Was there a moment that you thought, you know what, this might actually work? I might be able to make a living doing this.
There were. What I actually started doing to kind of help get me out there more was I would take my engraver to events, and I would make what you wanted on site. I never wanted to make up a bunch of stuff that I thought was cool and try to go out there and sell that to you when that's not exactly what you wanted. So I would take my engraver, I'd have blank products out there, and I would make what you wanted on site. So I was doing tumblers, I was taking the hats out there, little keychains, like these cool leather koozies and everything. Then I'd always have these pictures set up as well that I couldn't do those on site because those take 6 to 8 hours to do.
Right.
But I'd take special orders and then have that to you within a week.
And so you had some success at these shows, and it's like, okay, this is probably going to work.
Yep.
All right, so what's the long-term goal here? You want multiple shops around the tri-state area, or?
No, I kind of just want to have, one big shop where, people can come in, kind of check it out, because I don't really have that right now. It's all online, phone number, so anybody can text, call me anytime.
Okay. And these hats are unique because, I don't know if people can really see that, but there's like I don't know what you call this, a plate or something like that. Then
it's an acrylic patch.
Okay, so not many people do that type of hat. Am I wrong?
No, I haven't really seen any around this area, and that's kind of why I really jumped in with the hats. I have 39 different patch combinations, and that's growing every week, it seems like.
So how'd you discover these patches, though?
Just kind of...
Did you see hats you liked that were like that, or...?
No. So actually what happened is I had a buddy who said, it'd be really cool if you get, I was only doing like the brown leather patches, kind of like what you see just about everybody do. He's like, it'd be really cool if you could find some patches that change colors. And I did some research. I found a company that did that. Started off with them, had a couple adhesion problems with them, not going to lie. So then I found this other company that is growing rapidly and have all those same colors that the other company did, but they're adhesive. Like you can pick at the thing, you can put it under a truck, run it over and everything, and the thing's not coming off. So I've been really going hard with them here recently, and just about every color patch that they come out with, I kind of jump right in with.
So the etching, which is what you started, and again, we've got this here. Is there anything you can't, or I guess let's look at it this way. What can you etch into? Because you mentioned the tumblers. Can you do glass?
Yep, I can do glasses. I've been doing actually quite a few glasses.
What else can you do?
Wood, glass. You know, I can take the powder coat off stainless steel tumblers. I can pretty much do just about anything, but I can't etch metal yet.
Okay.
That's in the near future. Within the next couple of years, I want to get a machine that's able to do that. But right now, 95% of the business is promo stuff for other businesses. That's kind of where I thrive. I like doing the big bulk orders. And again, I do onesie twosies hats. You know, I just made a Trap Mom hat just the other day for somebody, a red, white, and blue hat.
Right.
So I'm definitely not against doing that. But I kind of how I got the start was, you know, the promo stuff. So when I was at those events, a company would come up and be like, hey, you know, just kind of want to test you out. Here's my logo. Put it on a hat for me.
And an example of that is this.
Yep, this is the unveiling of it.
Yes,
so,
the first time it's been public, right?
Yeah, Jimmy hasn't even seen it yet.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What if he says, no, I don't like it?
Well, you know, that's part of it. Then I'll make him another one.
So what is this?
So that's the Scoreboard's new Wing Fest that they're coming out with.
And
so this is going to be their trophy.
This will be the trophy?
Yep,
Okay.
so there's 6 of them. I think there's best wing, best alternative, and hottest wing.
Okay,
And
cool.
so 2 for each of the winner.
All right, well, cool. Thanks for bringing it in.
Yeah,
And thanks for
absolutely.
joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Andrew Wellman, Muddy River Engraving. This has been the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Mercantile Bank and Rober and Phillips Attorneys at Law.
Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.